Yesterday, Dr. Fred Matiangi was in Minnesota, as you can see in these images. Now, in this video, I want us to highlight some of the helpless victims that Matiangi mauled yesterday, and with no further ado, let's get after it. Victim number one is Johnson Sakaja. While in Minnesota, Matiangi roasted Sakaja for getting a degree through a court. Can you believe it? Through a court order. Here's the tip.
Because I'm not like some people in Kenya who claim, because when I was Minister for Education, I used to tell people, the easiest way to destroy a country is to begin with this rubbish about people who have got to go to court to look for court orders to prove that they went to school. Because if you went to school, how did you go to a school where you don't have a classmate, you don't have a teacher, and you are depending on a judge to make a ruling that you actually went to school. You know, my friends, I want to tell you this. There is a way in which we have destroyed our country by this silly behavior, doing things that normal people don't do. Because you see, going to school is a black and white situation. You either went or did not go. Yeah. And I used to tell people, I am not the one who wrote the law. I believe that you can be a good leader even if you actually do not have a degree, but you wrote the law in parliament and said for you to be governor, you actually need a degree. So respect the law, as it were. You wrote the law. Because that dishonesty is a subject I will go to another day, but I can tell you this. We've had people who have actually served as governors in Kenya who did not go to university. They bought papers, they carried papers, they went to court, got some order, bribed some electoral institution, and approved them. I was the Minister for Education when the Commission for University Education one time, a candidate presented a certificate, and please, I'm not, religious leaders who are in the room, I am not looking down upon you. This guy had attended a conference of religious leaders somewhere in South America, and they gave him a certificate of participation in...
And Matiangi is right. If you went to school, you need not struggle or sweat just to prove that you studied. First piece of evidence is your degree. If you don't have your degree, go get your transcripts. If you can't get your transcripts, get your classmates, get your lecturers. You can even get your pictures of graduation. If there is no picture of you in a gown anywhere, there is no picture of you in a classroom, you didn't even have a girlfriend in university, how can we say you went to university? These are the challenges that we are having, and Matiangi is raising a very valid issue. People are obtaining degrees through the court instead of the learning institutions. Kama ni hivyo basi, si wazazi waache kulipa school fees. Tuende tupatie judge kitu, aseme ulisoma na uende ufanye what you want to do. I think that is the easier way to do it. And this is part of the reasons why, personally, I think Dr. Fred Matiangi presidency would be good. He was very good with education. If he becomes president, and that is why ukipiga hesabu kuna watu hawataki aingie, he is going to deal with all the fake leaders who have nothing, no papers. Mtu wako na court order, ama degree sijui from Venezuela, sijui wapi, yet the fellow has been in this country through and through. What time have they been studying? Mtu wako na masters, bring your thesis. Let us see it. Where did you defend it? You defended in front of who? Or was it in front of a judge? These are the problems that we are having, and Matiangi would be the best candidate to streamline education. Hii mambo ya capitation kupunguzwa, wakora kupewa degree na judges, it will come to an end. So kudos to Matiangi for raising that matter. Na shikilia hapo. That is one of the points that I love hearing from him over and over again. Number 2, Dr. Fred Matiangi went after Kindiki for his ridiculous empowerment shenanigans. Cause huyu jamaa nenda na helicopter 9 kupewa wamama shilingi 64. Can you imagine 64 shillings? Just listening to this.
And now season 2 of that is about to begin. Where people are flying around the country with helicopters every Friday, in the form of empowerment. 9 helicopters this way, 9 helicopters that way, dramatizing things. Then they end up in a village, they give those poor people 64 shillings. That's not even $1. Even if you give your mother $1, what would she do with it? Let's be serious. I mean, these jokes, our country is better than that. So that is why we are here. And I promise that working together, all of us, we will fix these challenges, bring about...
And it's not just Kindiki. Even Farouk Kibet is dishing out millions, moving all over the place with helicopters. In what earth should the PA of a president be accorded more funds than a member of parliament, than a permanent secretary, even more than a governor, to the point if Farouk is coming to your county, people shake. They have to drop everything they're doing to go be where Farouk is because he's coming with the entire central bank. That is something that should also be revisited in 2027. Na ni mzuri Matiangi ndo ana raise easy points because he's likely going to be the candidate or the deputy. We want them to revisit all this reckless empowerment. It has to be revisited because si mbaya kupea watu pikipiki, si mbaya kupea watu hizi vitu za samosa na smoky, the trolleys. But is that the original purpose of that money? Watu wametoa pesa ya retirement, NSSF. You take it, you say you're doing roads, but instead we see you doing empowerment. It was made mandatory for everybody. You know why? So that they can tip their hand in the cookie jar whenever they feel like it. Mtu hezi lipwa mshahara ya 42 million, a mere member of parliament who earns probably 700,000 after deductions. So the entire earnings for the entire 5 years is around 42 million. And then mtu anenda anafanya empowerment one day for 45 million Kenya shillings. These are the type of games that we need a serious professional. The word is not leader. We need a professional, a clinical political hitman kuingia kungoa watu. Fake degrees, no clearance at the IEBC. If they got cleared, inakuwa revisited by the Ministry of Education. Let us see if the court can defeat the Ministry of Education. And if at all, a judge can overrule the Ministry of Education having already found that huyu mtu hajasoma, then the process ya kutoa huyo judge inaanza. There are avenues to also remove a judge from office. So, long story short, when I heard Dr. Fred Matiangi's speech, now I can say ametoka gear 1. I know many of you have been saying I'm a Matiangi hater, I just don't like him. No, he was operating with kids' gloves. Sasa ni kama amezitoa kidogo. He is starting to punch. And that is what we need in between now and 2027. It cannot just be Gachagua who was impeached that is leading the charge. Even if he's so good at it, there are days he should take a back seat na mwingine anaendelea. We cannot trust Kalonzo to hit this government. He's not a hitter. Yeye ni mtu tu wa kuchaguliwa na anafanyiwa campaign na anafika pale. He's not a fighter in reality. But if Matiangi can do what we know he can do, hii kura isha bwana. There is no story of two term. That one will be a big joke unless there will be massive theft. There is no way Ruto can defeat a Matiangi who has removed the kids' gloves. That was just a sample of what is to come. Now, at the end of the day, guys, that's just my opinion. I don't know how you feel Dr. Fred Matiangi is performing of late, but do drop me your own comments in the comment section below and I'll do the best to read them and to give you a response. And in the event you're here for the first time, please go on and hit the subscribe button. And if you're watching for a different platform, just head on over to YouTube, search for David Wafula. Hit the subscribe button, you're going to be getting a ton of content of this nature. If politics is something you're passionate about, this is definitely the one channel that you really need to subscribe to. Alright guys, adios. Thank you for choosing David Wafula as your primary news platform. We put countless hours in research, recording, and editing. By showing up each and every day to watch our videos, you encourage us to generate more videos for the viewers. We are on a mission to inform, educate, and build a better tomorrow. To our thousands of followers in a world full of presidents, kings, and queens, you are the real gem. Adios.